Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association, and this is a special Thanksgiving edition of Leadership Live. I want to talk to you about Thanksgiving. In 1990, I had the opportunity to travel to Romania, Czechoslovakia, Poland, and Hungary to visit a friend, travel around a bit, see another part of the world. A part of the world that until that time had been communist. In fact, we went into Romania just a few days after Ceausescu had been overthrown. It was amazing to see the freedom and how it impacted the people. I came back from that trip and realized that we're a spoiled country. We take so much for granted and we're not thankful for the things that we have because we've always had it. I read a story recently. Let me share it with you. His name is Ron Gruzewski. In 1988, in Poland, ironically, he was hit by a train. He survived, but barely. In fact, he remained in a coma for 19 years and awoke 19 years later to a wholly different country. When he was hit by the train, Poland was a communist country. There were gas lines everywhere. Food was rationed. He said, and the only thing that you could find in the stores was vinegar and tea. When he awoke 19 years later, Poland was a free country. People were walking around with cell phones in their hands. And he said, there was more food than you could imagine. He said, it just made my head spin. But he said what was most amazing was that all these people that 20 years earlier had been communist and had no freedom, he said they walked around with their cell phones and never stopped moaning because they had gotten used to freedom and they didn't appreciate it anymore. Thankfulness changes us. It makes us more approachable, especially as leaders. I want to challenge you to be thankful and list those things out that you're thankful for, because gratitude is something that's not only good for you as a leader and makes you more approachable and makes you someone that people want to emulate, it's also good for your health. We take 23,000 breaths a day on average, a human does. That's a lot of reasons to be thankful. So let me give you a few things to be thankful for that gratitude does for you. It improves your engagement because it really, truly, physiologically lowers your stress when you have a thankful attitude. It creates a positive environment for your team. It is proven to lower your blood pressure. It improves your sleep. Gratitude fosters forgiveness, and forgiveness has a whole slew of benefits in itself. Gratitude decreases loneliness. It makes you more approachable. And it eliminates that thing that I hate so much, I mentioned last week, and that's that entitlement mentality. It gets rid of that. We have so many reasons to be thankful. We live in a free country, the greatest country ever in the history of the world, if you ask me. We have phenomenal neighbors to our north in Canada. We are thankful. We often see them as just simply part of who we are. In 1973, a gentleman who lived on the east coast of Florida ended what he had been doing every Friday for years. He would walk down to the pier and he would take a bucket of shrimp with him and he would feed the seagulls every Friday. He had been doing this for year after year. He died soon after that. Older in age, stooped over, body a bit worn. But this man was not just any man, because in 1942, after having been named one of the aces in World War I, one of the ace pilots, and before that a famed race car driver, in 1942 he is asked to come out of retirement to carry a special message to General George MacArthur. He agrees to do that. He's 52 years old at the time. And the plane that he is in runs out of fuel and is ditched in the ocean. 8 men survive for 20 days. But they wouldn't have survived, except that one day, after having their prayer service, and they would do this every evening, they read some scripture, kept the Bible as long as it wasn't faded out by the sun. They did a prayer, and then they tried to chat a little bit. He said they were just too worn out. This is just several days into this. No water, already expended all their food. And this gentleman pulls his hat down over his head and just decides to get as much freedom from the sun as he can. And he feels something land on his head. He glances out from under the brim of his hat, and he could tell that all the other guys in the raft with him also realized there was something on his head. He very slowly reached up and grabbed the legs of a seagull. And that seagull kept them alive. In fact, they ate the body parts that they could, and the intestines and things they used as bait, because they had kept a couple of fish lines off the plane when it crashed, and that really helped them to sustain. Many people would look back on that and say, wow, that was an amazing event. But this gentleman, Captain Eddie Rickenbacker, one of the most famous pilots in World War I and maybe ever, later became the president of Eastern Airlines, which some of you will remember, and was actually president of Eastern Airlines when he was asked to go on this mission. He never forgot. He never quit being thankful for the seagull that allowed him to survive. So every Friday night on the east coast of Florida, he would walk out to the pier near his home with a bucket of shrimp, and he would feed them. Oh, that we would never forget the things that have happened in our life for which we should be grateful. If you're a leader, you didn't get there on your own. Somebody impacted your life. You had the freedom in this country that many people don't have to truly lead. You can lead without fear. Be thankful for that freedom. A thankful leader is a magnetic leader. People are drawn to them because they embrace everyone. They long to make everyone better. Oh, dear God, our world needs that. I challenge you. I implore you. I beg you. Be thankful. And go out there and lead.